Hey, baddies. What's up? And happy Sunday. Welcome back to the Jool Effect podcast. Apologies, this is coming in once again. Tried to do it yesterday, but I could not. We're going to have another Sunday podcast day. But welcome back to the Jool Effect podcast. This is the 9th podcast. And this podcast I talked about a little bit earlier during the week. We'll get into the topic a little bit later on, but I have a nice little preamble for you. This is not a movie review or anything, so I'm not going to jump straight into it. I've got a couple things I want to address. First thing is, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Guys, this is such a... I talked about it on my Twitter, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. I'm going to make a video dedicated to it. But this is such a great accomplishment for all of us together. And I really, it's hard for me to express my gratitude for such a feat. I was saying in my voice memo I posted on Twitter that it may seem small in scope to a lot of individuals and a lot of people out there, but it's a very important thing for me. And I think it's just a testament to people's commitment to the channel and their commitment to me as my listeners and support of me, and just want to see me succeed. And that's very, very heartwarming. And, you know, I feel the love from everybody. So I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm going to get a lot more sappy in my actual, 1,000 subscribers video, which I'm going to try to get it uploaded this week, but we shall have to see about that. It may come a little bit later on. I'll probably get a lot more sappy and heartfelt in that actual video. So I'll keep it short here, but I did want to touch on it briefly as my first video after hitting the milestone. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. It is just joyous, really. I was going to address another thing, but I think I'm going to put it as a preamble to an audio that I'm going to release this week, so never mind about that. But we're going to jump straight into a more, I guess, serious topic. I tweeted something. It's in my bookmarks. Let me go grab it. I tweeted something 4 days ago on the 19th of April where I have profound thoughts sometimes. I am a black voice actress, a black queer voice actress specifically. I'm a lesbian, and I just voiced a thought, and I kind of want to talk about it here on the podcast because that's what it's here for. So my tweet said, racism in the VA community doesn't make sense because, bitch, it's a voice. How'd that work? And I think, it's just a very simple statement. And my follower, who's been following me for a little bit while, their display name is Queef Queen at Weasel99, says, do tell, maybe share a podcast. So there's your shout out if you listen to my podcast. What's up? I'm now, shouting out your thought. And I just really quickly just want to address this in the first place. I think this is why this makes me so happy about hitting 1,000 subscribers, because it's showing me that a lot of people out there don't care that I portray all my characters as black, because there are a lot of people out there who have a problem with that. I voiced in a couple podcasts ago kind of the struggle sometimes when applying for auditions and throwing my hat out there for casting calls and whatnot, and knowing that they're looking for a Eurocentric type of voice or a Eurocentric character in the first place. And the frustration sometimes I have with, putting my voice in there and knowing like, they don't want somebody who sounds like me. Not because my voice is different, but because I'm black. And a lot of people, directors and whatnot, people who put together projects, may not even know the racism in their casting calls or how exclusive it is. Because obviously the VA community is predominantly white. male or female or individuals, predominantly white individuals. And so that means that a lot of people who are putting in auditions for casting calls, it's going to be overwhelmingly white because that's the demographic. So sometimes, this is just me being me, but sometimes, when you think you do good on an audition, when you put yourself out there, you work very hard on an audition, and you don't get the role. Sometimes it's clearly because oh, somebody had a better audition, somebody's doing it differently than you. But I've had a couple situations where I've been like, why didn't I get that? And then I look at the channel or the type of voices that they typically are looking for, or I look at how the director has casted for a project in the past, and it's not Black people or not brown people, but specifically I'm going to talk about Black people because this is about my experience as a Black person. I voiced in that podcast a couple podcasts ago where I was talking about that channel. Jesus. Very prominent channel who over very, very prominent channel. And they made, it was, a teen audience, and they made animated videos about people's experiences, and they animated them. And I mean, every single one was about white people. white person. And every video they had about somebody who was not white was about their experiences in that particular minority group. So if you were Black, it's about your experiences as a Black person growing up. If you're brown, it's about your experiences as a brown person growing up. If you're Asian, it's about your experiences as an Asian person growing up. It's not about you having that experience, the same experiences as a white person, just you are now a person of color. It has to specifically be about you as a person of color, which in itself is a form of racism, because we as a society have this ideology, have this view that we need to talk about. Am I getting a phone call? Or is that a text? Excuse me. Oh, sorry. That's my brother. Okay. We as a society have this view that, we need to talk about Black people, but we also need to normalize Black people having the same experiences as white people. Excuse me. I hit my mic. As brown people, as white people in general. I have very similar experiences to my white friends when I grew up in high school, when I went to middle school, and even in college. We're going through the same shit. It's changing the narrative that a story, a coming of age story, can just be about a coming of age story by a person of color, by a Black person, by an Asian person, by a brown person. It doesn't have to be their experiences as being brown, being Black, whatever. It's like the same thing when you think about history, American history, and all Black people are known for are slavery and the civil rights movement, and that's all we get. We're so much more than just that. So it just brought up a lot of stuff, but specifically why I tweeted that is because I don't have to display my race on my thing. I can have a raceless profile. I can have a random profile picture. I could just have, Julian as my name on there. And I don't have to advertise the fact that I'm Black. And if I still was not given the same opportunities as other people, that's still racism. Excuse me. And it's the fact that people think that a character is somebody's excluded based on their voice, and you may not even know what they look like. Doesn't that seem a little to you? Because I didn't follow this person. I didn't follow them or anything, but I did see a tweet about a person being nervous about telling their audience, mass audience, that they are Black, and how I saw another tweet of a person being like, yeah, it was hard for me to come out and be like, hey, I'm Black, I'm not white. And how, they lost a bit of their audience because of that, because for some reason it's the fact that it's a Black person voicing possibly Eurocentric characters that it doesn't resonate right. But that's the thing, is voice acting is making your voice sound like the character. So you may be Black, but you can be voicing a white person, or in that fact, you can change the race of the character. Isn't that so crazy how that can work? That you can change things in projects to fit the demographics of your voice actors? That's wild. And that's why I love Kimberly Brooks. Kimberly Brooks is a very famous voice actress. She's been in the industry for quite a long time. She voices Ashley Williams. If you're aware of the Mass Effect trilogy, she voices Ashley Williams. She also voiced the second Subnautica, the protagonist in that one. Always black characters, some sort of person of color or black characters. I have a headcanon about Ashley Williams being black, but always black characters. And I love that. I love that because I wish that's a place that we could be at, because now black people have to struggle with this. I keep hitting my fucking mic. I'm so sorry. Can I come out and tell people, oh, this is who I am. This is what I look like, without losing a percentage of the audience because now it's a black person behind the screen rather than the white person you thought it was. Can I do that? Or the alternative, like I said, it's switching roles to fit the race of the voice actor, and then you can still lose a large percentage of the audience because they're like, well, I didn't see that character as black. I didn't like the fact that that character was black. That's racist. It damn sure is. That's racist. Surely, that is racism right there. Your expectation of a character being a certain race, and then you being upset that it's not that race, particularly if you think it's a white character and turned out to be a black character or a person of color character, and you get upset about that. Maybe check your racism. Perhaps that's why, for me, it's like I'm throwing it out there. Like I'm advertising my blackness, my queerness, my masculinity as a woman, as a soft butch, as whoever. I'm letting people know from the jump, these are my identities, these are my eccentricities, and you can take them or you don't have to cast me. You don't have to cast me. I don't have a problem really voicing white actors. I'm voicing a white person soon. I've got some stuff lined up where I'm voicing white people. It doesn't bother me. But I do love when I get to see casting calls on CCC where they're specifically looking for black people. And then what upsets me sometimes is I see people can get upset about a space being open specifically for black people because they think it's unfair. But it's like you're unconscious to the fact that a lot of things are unconsciously tailored to white people on Casting Call Club in the first place. Just look at the Carfax. Look at people who are auditioning for a role and look at the wide variety of white people compared to the small minority of black and brown people, Asian people. You know, there is a difference. So you calling somebody unfair because they said a character, I'm looking for an African-American woman, African-American person to voice this character, and you think it's unfair because you don't get a chance to voice that character? Well, baby, let me tell you something. All the characters that you threw your hat in, I guarantee about 85% of them are going to be cast by a white person, and black people are in there fighting for their life trying to get the role of a race that doesn't even coincide with theirs. You know, it seems kind of unfair to me. Excuse me. I always wake up like these mornings and have like all the gunk in my throat, and I'm so sorry. I had an audition for, it was actually a pretty big project. They were putting on a project for the last trilogy of the Star Wars, and they were like redubbing it, kind of rewriting it and stuff. And that audition I did, it's probably my favorite audition I've ever done. I'm slowly putting together my demo reel for other casting calls and whatnot, and that's definitely going to be something I put in there. Probably one of my favorite auditions I've ever put together. And I didn't get the part, which it's fine. But I sometimes, I like to look at who got the part. And it was just a little like, because sometimes I understand you want to compensate for the person you think can voice a character. You as a director, you're like, oh, I'm looking for this sound. And if a person has that sound, you're willing to overlook specific, maybe disadvantages about their audio setup or the sound of their voice. But not even just me in particular, but there were a lot of other, particularly brown people, going for that role. And the person who got it was like, I mean, their mic was like, wow, like you got it. Like you got it. Wow. And I guess once again, it's just maybe they were exactly what the director was looking for. Maybe they were exactly what the director was looking for. But it's situations like that that do make you think a little bit. That do make you a little, not angry, but just make you aware, because Blackness is all about being aware. It's all about being aware of your difference. When you step into a room and somebody's in your business, probably Black. Blackness is being aware of other people's whiteness in general. And situations like that where, I knocked that fucking audition out of the park. I did the absolute best I could on that, you know what I mean? Because I wanted that role really, really, really bad. And I didn't get it, which is, once again, it's fine, voice acting is all about trial and error. You're going to get rejected. I've been rejected countless times. It's fine. But it's just, it puts into perspective, like sometimes, it makes you have those thoughts. Like, maybe I shouldn't be so vocal about my Blackness. Maybe I would have had a chance. Because it does make you think, like, maybe they were looking for somebody else, Maybe if I didn't have Black as the first thing on my Twitter, on my CCC, maybe I would have a chance at more roles and whatnot. Maybe if my artwork that my friend has done for me doesn't showcase, a cartoonized version of a Black woman, maybe, but also it's like, you can't have those thoughts, because you have to be proud of who you are, and that's who I am. I'm proud of my Blackness. I'm proud of my queerness. I'm proud of my masculinity, and that's not something I'm going to compensate for to get roles. You're either going to take me as I am, or you're not going to take me at all. But that's what I had to say in the first place, and I hope that mutual who Twitter mutual of mine who told me to put this on the podcast, I hope you're satisfied with that little deep dive, I guess, into voice acting and some opinions I have. But I'm going to move on to my next topic in this preamble. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check how long we've been going for. 16 minutes. Nice. Okay, that's good. Next one I have, it's going to be really short. I picked my classes for next semester. And this is going to address a little bit of the scheduling differences I'm going to have with audios and whatnot. I try to get two things uploaded each week. One is a singular audio that I've been working on for a week. And the next is my podcast, which obviously is supposed to be uploaded every Friday. But sometimes, I'm kind of being more lenient on myself and being like each weekend. I'll try to get it up each weekend. Because yesterday I had, there was something going on at my university. And I got involved in it. And I needed to be social too. It was fun. But I was so spent because I was in the sun all day and it's getting hot. And I was outside for like 3 hours and I was fucking tired. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to finish the podcast. So I figured I'd just upload on Sunday. So it's all good. But scheduling for next semester. So I picked all my classes and I jumped through hoops after hoops after hoops after hoops to keep my Fridays off. Because for the past year, so last semester and this semester, I've had, well, we can say since the beginning of me in college, I've had either one class on Friday or no classes on Fridays. And that Friday is a lot of time for me to work on commissions. It's a lot of time for me to write. It's time for me to do the podcast. It leaves me a lot of time to do things. And that's a schedule that I've now been loyal to and compelled to keep. So now I want to keep it really badly. So I did my absolute best this year to pick my classes, being conscientious of me on the internet and conscientious of my Fridays and keeping that off, keeping those Fridays sacred to me. And I'm happy to say I was able to keep Fridays clean and open, wide open for next semester. So I have no classes on Fridays. The podcast will continue to be uploaded on Fridays through the spring and through the summer. And I should be able to keep pumping out more content coming into this summer, because now I'm going to have classes are going to end. I'll have more time to write. It'll be a little bit harder because my roommate will be home. I try not to record when they're here. But, I did my best to keep it open, and I did. I was able to keep it open. No classes on Fridays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are gonna kill me though, not gonna lie. I've got 3 classes, which, you know what, it's not that bad, because it's like I have 1 in the morning, and then I have a pretty nice break, and then I have like 2 back-to-back. And I'm also getting home at around, I'll probably get home around like 3:30, 3:35 each day next semester, which is nice, because it's just nice. So I don't have to, worry about getting home, because I get home a little bit later this semester. I get home at like 5:30 each semester, like this year, which this is accounting for like my job that I'm going to have on school campus, and what I do for that. They're going to incorporate my schedule in through my already school schedule. So I may have to stay later on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Monday or Wednesday, because I don't have work on Fridays. But in general, podcasts should be able to stay uploaded on Fridays. I did my absolute best to keep it that way, and I was able to succeed. I'm really excited, and I'm excited about all the content I'm going to be able to roll out. Really quick on deck this week. We've got the second part to the I'll Suffer in Silence series. I know a lot of you guys are very, very interested in how I'm going to continue that. And I want to say, again, prepare your tissue boxes. That story, it will be continued this week. I'm just about finished with the script. I've got the last maybe 1.5 scenes to write on that one, and I should be able to get that uploaded this week. And I've also got yes, I'm gonna do it. Messages for Her is going to get a part 2. Yes, it is. I thought about it. I thought about how I would continue it. And I want to say that that series is going to finish in 3. Going to finish in 3 parts. But the second part, next one, I've got an idea for it. I've written the preamble for the script. I haven't started on the script yet. And then lastly, I've got my first collab that I am drafting up slowly but surely, getting the script all hammered out. I finished the summary and exposition of the world in general, but I'm very, very, very excited about that. And one of my friends, let me shout her out really fast, find her on Twitter. Yeah, I had an idea, because I haven't done any supernatural script or anything, and I'm obviously, I like supernatural stuff. It's really cool to me, so I was like, let me try to figure something out. And my mutual at VKNeco1, they don't have their pronouns in their thing, so their YouTube channel is VKNeco, should be, yeah, v.k.neco. I just hit 2,000 subscribers, actually. Will be who I'm collabing with on that particular conquest. But I'm very excited to get that all finished, squared away. And that's about all I have to say for our wonderful preamble. So, what are we talking about today? We, as a society, are going to be talking about fan fiction. Yes, Lord. I'm just going to take you through my history of it. We can talk about, I'll probably go on tangents about tropes and stuff. Maybe I can do a trope ranking list, maybe. But I just popped my finger. We're going to go on a little journey back to me finding out about fan fiction. So, I didn't write any notes about this because this is like, these are all like core memories for me ingrained within my childhood. And I'm going to take you through it right now and we're going to get into it. So, our story begins back, what year is it? 2022? I am 19. What is 8 minus 19? No, 8 minus 22. What the fuck is that? 2014. 2014. 2014. So, when I was, sixth grade. Yep, sixth grader. My parents got me my phone, my first phone. It wasn't a smartphone, but it was like a touchscreen thing. So, but I could not get like apps, and like games on it or anything. So my parents had gotten me like an Amazon Kindle as like okay, we don't want you to have a full smartphone, but we'll get you a tablet so that you can play games and watch YouTube or whatever, do that kind of stuff with. And that's what I had. And one day, excuse me, my friend comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Julian, you ever heard of Wattpad before?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. What is that? What the fuck is that?" And she was like, "Hey, it's this website that people write stories and they're free and you can read them. And if you know Wattpad now, you know it's a much bigger advertised, paid for platform. It's a lot more clean. I was on Wattpad years ago. You didn't even have ads to read. You could sit down and read books all fucking night if you wanted to. So, I went home that day and I downloaded Wattpad and I was like, wow, this is like, pretty cool. Because I didn't have, my mom's card was on my Kindle, but she was like, "Don't you ever buy anything ever." And I was like, okay. Unless I like begged for like a game, she was like, "Don't ever buy anything with my card. I'm putting this on here. But don't you ever use it." So I was like scared to get like books and stuff because I know my mom is, I had pretty strict parents growing up. So I knew her no was very final because, she didn't really play about her money, which is fair. And so I, jumped at the opportunity to get digital books for free, because I had actual books, in-person books. But at that time, I was kind of getting to the age, 11 years old. I was like, I want to read some romance. Like, I want to see what's out there. I want to see. So 11 years old, I got Wattpad and I dove into it. By that I mean it didn't really hit for me, because if anybody knows, back in that day, people on Wattpad, if you didn't have your algorithm, tailored to you, you're just going to get recommended the most popular stories. 37 million reads. 15 million reads, all that kind of stuff. Bunch of really popular books written about straight couples. 11 years old, I knew I was gay. So I read some of them. I remember I read a couple and none of them were really like resonating with me. Because half of the pairing, I was like, I'm uninterested in, this is a boy. I don't like boys. And I remember I read one story in particular. This is like one of the last stories I read. And it was about like, it was an enemies to lovers back in the day. And, it was like that, one of those, they hate each other, but they're slowly drifting together. But she had started dating his best friend. And, it was like a whoa, like they like each other, but you're dating like homeboy. And it was like, one of those scandal things. I was kind of into the story, but only because I was like, I like a good scandal at 11 years old. I remember what I liked about the story. So back in the day, you can still do it now, but on Wattpad you had a thing about fan casts. So you could like put celebrities as your like cast members in your thing, which I think is actually pretty cool and innovative, and I think that's really cool. But she had casted Phoebe Tonkin as the protagonist. And if you guys don't know who that is, it's the brunette from H2O. And also it's Haley from the originals, if you're hip to that show. So, you know, she's really hot. So I was into the story because, you know, Phoebe Tonkin was, you know, the protagonist, and I was like, damn, she kind of fine. Fuck. Like, you know, I think Douglas Booth was the love interest, like the main one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it was Douglas Booth. He's cute too. He's fine. Like in like a objective sense. Like I get it. So they look good together as a couple. I remember because I was rooting for them. I never finished that book either. I remember. That was like my last straw. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm so bored. You know, I'm fucking bored. And I had reached a crossroads where I was like, do I just risk buying some fucking books on my Kindle or you know, and getting my mom in fucking trouble, like getting in trouble with my mom or some fucking shit like that. You know, cuz my mom would know if I had bought something. But I was like, I'm bored. Like, I don't get it. Like, and I was angry at my friend for being like, why would you recommend this shit to me? This shit's whack. Like, there's no shit. And I remember going up to the search bar one day and just trying my luck. I had my little dice in my hand. I was ready to roll. You know, I was at the table. Had my little body leaning against the table, you know, ready to roll. Seeing what fate had for me. I typed in lesbian, and I was like, oh scandal. Oh my god, scandal. Oh my god. I'm such a bad girl. Oh my god. Nothing really came up. If y'all don't know, Wattpad has an awful search engine. I mean, it's horrendous, terrible. I don't think it ever like got good either. I left the app in like, I think about like 3 years ago, I want to say. Something like that, yeah. And it never got good. It never was good. And I didn't really get anything. But I remember seeing a tag. Because you have the titles to Wattpad stories, okay? But then you could have a tag next to it. You know, it would say like FXM, which meant female and male, or you know, I would see MXM stories. But for girls, it was GXG, which it meant girl and girled. And I was like, oh. Oh. What is this? I've never seen such a thing before. Oh my god. And let me tell you, once I found that out, once I typed in with my little 11-year-old fingers, type that in, girl x girl, baby, I found the world. I found the world, the land, air, and sea, bitch. I found the universe. I found the heavens. Because that right there, it gave me everything. Let me tell you something. I didn't grow up in a household where, you know, homosexuality was praised or really accepted. And everything on TV was so heteronormative. Obviously, even at fucking 11 years old, I could tell. So basically, I was starved of gay content until that point. I didn't see anything for me, girls like me, nothing, not even like sexual stuff, but just stories about girls like me who liked other girls and didn't know what to do with it. I had so many feelings at the time. I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to behave. You know, I had just had a lot of thoughts. I didn't have anything that was telling me this is okay. Nothing telling me that this is normal, that I'm not the only person going through this. And Wattpad became that safety net for me, that safeguard. So many different stories of girls, not my age, there's a lot about high school girls, going through the same shit that I was going through. Not even just, I never had crushes really on my best friends, but like a lot of stories were like that. But just in general, like seeing a girl being like, oh my God, like I don't know how to act, I don't know what to do, sweaty hands, like all the nervousness, everything that I was experiencing, Wattpad gave me like that, like thumbs up, like, hey, you're not the only person going through this, and it's gonna get better and you're gonna be okay. I didn't have that at the time. So these stories not only like served as like a safety net for me, but they were just something to tell me that my life growing up gay, it's normal, it's okay. So, you know, I fell deep into it. And these were just original works, you know. Wattpad, a lot of times, it's large on fan fiction, but also it's a pretty big place for original works as well, at least at the time, 8 years ago. So fell very deep into the original works, girl x girl stories, girl x girl, girl x girl, girl x girl, going through it. I learned what sex was, lesbian sex was, through Wattpad. I knew what sex was at the time, but obviously a straight perspective point of it, I knew what it was, but I didn't know like what that was. I didn't know like how that worked between like two girls, and I figured that out through Wattpad. I remember one story in particular, which it holds. I think it was. I'm checking if I'm still recording. I think the name was P.S. I Hate You. I think so. I'm gonna look that up right now. I think it was like P.S. I Hate You or something, because it was Enemies to Lovers, which my little 11-year-old has. I had taste back in the day. I sure did. I think it was P.S. I Hate You. I want to say that story name is P.S. I shit. No, can I? Fuck. I hate you. I'm gonna look up Wattpad. Was that it? Yep, it's P.S. I Hate You. Oh my God. Yeah, it's by Khaleesi H. Yeah, because she had like Game of Thrones shit. Oh my God. I can't believe I remember this 8 fucking years later. Let me read the synopsis, okay? Isabelle Perrier seemingly has everything. She is beautiful, has handsome. I'm realizing the grammar is so bad. Jesus Christ. Isabelle Perrier seemingly has everything. She is beautiful, has handsome boyfriend, and is the most popular girl in her high school. But she is also cold and conniving and does everything she wants. Everyone in her school is trying not to get on her bad side because she has ways of destroying people through her vicious schemes. Elisa Brown seems to always persevere, Jesus, despite Isabel's efforts to bring her down. Isabel hates Elisa with a burning passion, sometimes for the reasons unknown even to her. Elisa is gentle and kind. She quickly rose to the ranks of second popular girl, not because of her breathtaking beauty, but also because she wins people over with her incredible charisma and gentle soul. Elisa isn't really intimidated by Isabel and rather curious of the reasons of Isabel's animosity towards her. Is there something more behind Isabel's hate towards Elisa? What will happen when she breaches the threshold of Elisa's patience? Warning, this book contains adult content. So that was the book that taught me like this is how it goes. This is how it is. And as you can tell, the grammar is kind of everywhere. You know, when you're fucking 11 and this is the only content that you can get, you'll take some fucking fucked up stories. Also, my grammar at 11 was terrible. So that right there, it showed me the world. So I stayed on Girl X Girl Wattpad from 6th grade to 7th grade. I was deep in that hole. I mean stories upon stories upon stories, stories, everything. Everything. I was there for a while. And it wasn't until 8th grade for me, so I'm about to go to high school. Still on Wattpad, still reading up until fucking 2 in the goddamn morning. I'm reading like all the time, like every day. Like my parents would ask me, like, what are you doing? Reading. What am I reading? Don't ask about it, but reading. And that was it was acceptable answer for my parents. They would be like, oh, okay, she's just reading. So, you live and you move on, you go on. It wasn't until 8th grade where I actually don't remember exactly how I got there, but one of the stories, when you have your algorithm start to get tailored to you, you have books and stuff, your recommendations get, everything on my shit was just girl x girl. I don't remember exactly how I got there, but I do remember particularly, I don't remember what the first story was either, but I remember particularly, I'm scrolling through stories to add to my library one day. I'm just flipping through them, going through them, and I see at the bottom when this is fan fiction, and I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And it was a Fifth Harmony fan fiction, particularly Lauren and Camila. And I was like, oh, okay. Most of the time I can get behind a fandom fan fiction, not even if I don't really know the characters, but if I think they're attractive, which is shallow, but I was also 13. So, I was actually 12. Yeah. Cause I'm young for my year. So I was 12. And it was, I don't remember what story it was. Oh God, there was like 3 really popular ones. I think one of them is Do I Want to Know? I remember that. I'm so disgusted with myself that I remember this. One of them is Do I Want to Know? It might have been that one, because that one's has a lot of sex and is really, 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 really toxic. By the way, Wattpad is, I can't remember what the rating of the app was. I was young for it. I think it was like 13 plus or something like that. So I was young reading it, but I was too young to be reading this shit, like for real. And I read that. I didn't read the whole thing either. It was like fan fiction that popularizing very toxic relationships and whatnot. And I read it and I was like, once again, it felt like I had just opened a door and stepped through and found an entirely new world. I mean, that was my pairing, baby. That was them. And I don't even like Fifth Harmony. I don't even like it. I just was so into the fan fiction, the different adaptations. I mean, I read sports adaptations. I read fucking superhero adaptations. I read so many Hogwarts ones, so fucking many. I learned about what fucking girl penis was from Fifth Harmony fan fiction adaptations, which, by the way, too young to be reading them. That shit is still hot though. I went through it all, and once again found a whole nother world. That one fizzled out faster because when did Camila leave Fifth Harmony? Let me think about this time. Give me one sec. Oh God, when did Camila leave Fifth Harmony? December 2016. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Which is just about all of 8th grade. So 2015 for me. 2016, I went to high school, going through it, still reading in my fan fiction era. When Camila left Fifth Harmony, a lot of people stopped updating their fics, stopped going through it. So things got dry for me. Things got very dry. And, once again, I'm 14. I was a hardened soldier at that point, in the trenches of fan fiction. I had finally gone from original works into actual fan fiction creations of stories. The only thing is I don't read fan fiction between real people anymore because it's weird. Well, not weird, but it's just it's not for me anymore. So, I was young and naive, but again, at the time, this was the only queer content that I was getting. So I was like, I would take anything that I can get. So I just took everything about, it was Carmen, that was the name. I took anything from Carmen that I could take until December 2016 when Camila left the group. 2017 begins, and I had read through my favorite fics time and time again. Some people still were uploading fan fiction stuff, but the fandom, it was dying. Also because Fifth Harmony was gearing to break up, go on extended hiatus. And I wasn't into it. My heart wasn't into it. So I was like, where can I find fan fiction? And I wasn't a fanfiction.net gal. That's not where I went. I went to Archive of Our Own. I went to AO3. I think one of my friends, I think it was the same friend that told me about Wattpad, told me about AO3. And she said, she was like, Julian, it doesn't have an app. It's a website. And I was like, oh, because I remember I had tried to go on it back in like the beginning of 9th grade when I was still reading like my Carmen fan fiction, still in my Fifth Harmony era. I had tried to like figure it out. I was like, this is kind of whack. I'm not really into it. I didn't like it. Wattpad was an app. It was easier. I was like, I don't really like it. So I had like, kind of just stepped away and never like came back. But it wasn't until 2017 that I finally was like, okay, let me see. And I actually, this is so funny that I can remember all this stuff, because this is just getting like backed up by me be getting the accounts of these things, because I can go to I'm on my Archive of My Own right now, and I can go to my dashboard and I can go to my profile and I can see when it was made, and it was made in 2017. So it's like everything that I'm saying, it's just going through memory lane, because it's like, boom, in 8th grade started reading Fifth Harmony fan fiction. Okay, Camila leaves in 2016. I have to leave. I have to find somewhere else to go. 2017 begins. Okay, I made my Archive of Our Own account. 2017 is when I made my Archive of Our Own account. So you can tell I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. Like, these are just like actual things that have timestamps that are in the course of history that I just remember. So I went to AO3 and that's so gross. I'm so sorry. I figured out the search engine, which once again, I said it earlier, Wattpad has an awful search engine. It was so annoying sometimes trying to find a fic that like you didn't bookmark or you didn't add it to your library. And by that time, the app was changing too. It was changing. It was getting more corporate. Stories. You had to like watch ads to continue them. I hear now some stories you have to buy coins to finish them. So you have to have coins, and to get past a certain point you have to spend coins to finish the story, but only specific stories. And it like helps the author get money for their stories and whatnot. So the platform was changing. It was getting a lot more corporate, because I had gone through a lot of changes aesthetically with the Wattpad app. And I was kind of getting a little like, like I'm not as into it as I used to be. Because by that point, going into 2017, I'm gonna be 15. I'm like experiencing a difference in my maturity. So I wasn't like just the eager 11-year-old that I was years prior, just excited for any sort of queer content. This was a sort of like kind of more mature, like, like I'm trying to find like some literature, something to read that I like to get down. Because then at that point I was getting like starting to get a little picky with my stories, because as you can tell, the little excerpt, the synopsis I read from P.S. I Hate You, there's some grammatical errors, a little bit of things, a little wonky tonky in the story itself that like I'm not sure that 15-year-old me would have accepted. I might have just read that and been like, not into it, and then like moved on, but like 11-year-old me finding that, I was so like, this is gay stuff and I need something gay, but by that point, I was a little bit older and I was exposed to a little bit more gay content. I had gay friends in high school, so it wasn't just me. I didn't feel as alone. So when I moved to AO3, it was, once again, it was like opening not even to a new world, but to a world of worlds. The vastness of AO3 and people out there, I know people out there still don't like AO3. You need to just figure out the search engine, and then you're straight, and then you're fine, because that platform is so phenomenal for readers. I hear it's kind of hell for creators a little bit, like how to upload stories and stuff. It's a little like, but for readers, the time and effort they put into the tagging of fics and finding things in that is just so, I mean, there's a reason why they don't have an app. Like, it's better as a website, in my opinion. The website is so you can really find something really tailored to your niche, even if it doesn't have an algorithm, tracking what kind of stories you read and recommending new ones to you. You can look at things that you've read in the past and be like, okay, this story has this and that and that and that. Guarantee their tags for it on AO3, and you can go ahead and find them. Like, because I remember sometimes I go down to memory lane and I'll reread Carmen fanfictions from Fifth Harmony that made it over to AO3, and they're all tagged appropriately, because everything in AO3 is about the tagging system. It's about, if the story is enemies to lovers, you can find all enemies to lovers. You can find all female enemies to lovers, and you can just go through it on a specific fandom. So once I figured that out, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. And then gluttony began. I read anything and everything. Okay. Anything and everything that hit my standards for a 15-year-old at that point, maturing into my later years. Anything and everything. If you name anybody who's going to read this, who's going to listen to this far in this podcast, I challenge you to comment down below some fandoms, popular fandoms, with popular female pairings, or even some niche ones. Try me. And I'll guarantee that I've read a fan fiction or two with them. When I tell you, by that point, 11 to 15 years old, I had read probably a couple hundred fan fictions. From the next years of 15 until 17, we probably jumped to around probably over like a couple thousand. I mean, it was everywhere. And I jumped to podfics too. One day during the summer, I was listening to podfics and I was like, wow, audiobooks are really cool. So then I was like interested in audiobooks. And it was so fulfilling. I mean, I went everywhere, long fics, short fics, one shots. My favorite type of fic is lots of words, small amount of chapters, because I like longer chapters that have more substance rather than shorter chapters that are really just one scene. I like longer stuff. Read so many of those. So many of those fictions. So many of those fan fictions. From different dimes that AO3 has been up, from different eras. I got recommendations. I went here, there. I went everywhere. And honestly, if you've listened to this far, please comment a fandom down below so I can show you like where I have been, because I have been everywhere. I was a scavenger. I was like, man. So then we get to my later years. So 18 years old, I'm kind of coming out of my fan fiction phase, because I'm entering like, now I have my own money so I can buy my own novels. So now I'm actually buying lesbian like published books on like Kindle. And I don't have to go to fan fiction. So I started like kind of leaning off of it, and then I started finding like manga and manguas, those kind of things with a visual component. And I went batshit crazy over there too. I went buck fucking wild over there too. Found so many things. I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, because I'm nearing the end of my journey. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So I have tried to watch Game of Thrones like 6 times. Never really got finished with it and everything. I think the farthest I've gotten is to like season 4. So Marjorie and Sansa, great pairing. I just want to say, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I read a fan fiction one time with them, and it was very specific, and I remember so many of the details. It was about how they meet on a dating app, and Marjorie is a politician, and Sansa is a master's student, and they meet on a dating app, and they just decide to be friends. But slowly after time, they start to be attracted to one another, like each other, that kind of stuff. And the night I was reading it, it was really late when I found it. And I was kind of near the ending of like my reading binge, because I go on reading binges at night. Some nights I'm like, okay, I'm going to read until fucking 4 in the goddamn morning. But I was nearing the end, and I can't read when I'm sleepy. Like, I can't do it. So I was like, okay, I'll just bookmark it, and then, I'll get back to it later. That time comes when I go to look for it later. And it had been some time. And I look back, and I remember going to the exact time where I was reading a bunch of Game of Thrones fan fictions, because I can go back through my history and remember the eras where I was in a fandom, like combing through it with my little fucking fine tooth comb, trying to find the things that I like. And I got back to my Game of Thrones era, my Sansa and Marjorie era, and I was like, okay, let me find it. It was gone. It was gone. It was gone, and I was upset. I was like, no, it can't be gone. No. Oh God, I was like, God damn it, I didn't finish. I don't get to know what it's about. Fuck. I was so upset. I mean, I was hurt. I was like, God fucking damn it, I should have finished it. Fuck. So, I took the L. I didn't try to find it or anything. I was just like, God damn it, like fuck. And I remember the details of the story so specifically, and I was like, if I ever find it again, then it'll just be a miracle. Fast forward a little bit later, and I'm on Kindle, and I'm kind of scrolling through, books. I buy a book called Those Who Wait. It's by Haley Cass. And the synopsis didn't ring a bell to me at all. I started reading, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. It was that book. So the author had written the fan fiction. Okay. Probably was going to get it published, but can't publish it with fandom characters. So just change the names of the characters. Then got it published on Kindle. Got it taken off AO3 because of copyright. Got it taken to Kindle. There for consumption. I found the fandom, found the fan fiction, found the book again, and it was the happiest of days. I cannot tell you how happy I was when I found that thing again, because I remember the exact details of the story, everything, and I just imagined the characters as Sansa and Marjorie. So I found it again, and it was, if you have never read Those Who Wait by Haley Cass, I thoroughly recommend you go to read it. It's a slow burn. It's a friend lover slow burn. And I mean, that burn is so excruciating. But it is good, though. It is good. It is a good book. It's an audiobook. I adapted into an audiobook as well. And it's really some good stuff. And that was when I started realizing, oh my God, fanfiction writers are like fucking authors, but they just have to convert their books. Back in the day, you'd have the same shit. I read the same fucking book that was a Rachel Berry Quinn Fabray fanfiction, got converted into Carmen for Fifth Harmony, and I've seen it get converted into another fandom before. Like, that's how things like conversions of stories, but just changing the names, are very popular back in the day in the fanfiction world. And that was one of the ones I got converted a lot. Same fucking shit. She just fucking changed the character so it could get published. And I was so happy when I found that book. But that was about like the end of it. Getting up to my age now, 19. I still read fan fiction. Yes, this is not something I'm gonna protest. I still read it. It is not. I don't have the overwhelming thirst that I used to have. I've entered more fandoms, left more fandoms, and I found a lot of stuff that I like. However, I am a snob now, like, because I've been through it so long. Because I remember I was saying at 15 I was a hardened soldier. But now I'm like a fucking war hero, okay? I've been in those trenches. I have served my time for my country for a very, very, very long time in the world of fan fiction, in the war of fan fiction. And now I just won't take any battle. Now it's gotta have the perfect ring to it, the perfect style, the perfect taste, the perfect way it's written for me to even give it a time of day, because I've been in it so long. So now I have been doing this thing. This is my last thing I'm going to say, and then the podcast, I'm going to end it. I'm going to do my triple shuffle, and then I'll end it. This is the last thing. So I've been doing this thing now. Excuse me. Remember how I was saying that I've read literally so many fan fictions that it's probably been over a couple thousand. That means I've been so many places that there's places that I'm sorry, I've been to so many places, but that it's harder to find a place I haven't been than to find a place that I'm going to go, if that makes sense. Basically, it's harder to find fandoms that I haven't already been in than rediscover new ones, because I've been to so many. So I've been doing this thing where I have been going to AO3, just opening up the fandom thing, and you can search for fandoms. You can search fandoms through anime, TV shows, video games, real characters, original works, a lot of different stuff. You can look for a lot of different stuff through fan fiction. I've been going through that. You pull up AO3, and then you pull up an alphabet generator. Okay. You take the two things side by side, okay? You take the alphabet generator side by side, and then you take the AO3. You click on a fandom. What are you in the mood for today? Oh, I want to read about video games. Okay. Go to the generator. The letter is L. Go through every single L in the thing. Every single one. You find something that you like, go try to find a fic to read. And that's what I've been doing, because I have to make it randomized like that. Because I've been in it so long that it's hard for me to find things I haven't read. So I've just been like slowly combing my way through like everything. Even fandoms that I'm not even in, but just things I've heard about. I'm like, okay, I'll fuck with it. I'll fuck with it. And I'll try to find something that I like. So that's what I've been doing. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the end to my journey through fan fiction. It starts on Wattpad, ends on AO3. We're still on AO3. But yeah, that's about the end of it. And that was a long story, but that was a good time to tell. It really brought me through. I can't believe the PS I Hate You is still up. I'm like, gosh, it's so crazy that I remember the name too. I can't believe it's still up, but we're going to go ahead and close it out with the triple shuffle. So I have my first song is Don't Stop, which is from the album Bay 2 by Young Bay and Flaming Ghostes. It is a good song. If you like future funk music, if you're into vaporwave, if you're into future funk, this is a good song. Very good song. Young Bay is one of my favorite artists of all time, and he actually follows me on Twitter, which is like clicking my little fucking feed about. But the next song is going to be Numb featuring Eminem on Rihanna's Unapologetic, which is her 7th album. 7th? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. That's not another good song. And then my last song for the triple shuffle is Welcome to Jamrock, which is by Damien Jr. Gong Marley. So it's a reggae song if you're into reggae music. But yep, that's gonna do it for the podcast this week. We went through my journey with fan fiction. We talked about some serious stuff at the beginning, but we went through my journey with fan fiction. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you do, leave a like, subscribe, comment, Which, again, comment on some fandoms down below, because if you say some that I don't know, it's going to be a surprise, first of all, and then I can go read about it. So it's a win-win. But yes, if you enjoy this podcast, please leave a like, please subscribe, please comment, please share this video. Wonderful. Last podcast is at like 300 views, which is like so fucking crazy, because, excuse me. Oh my god, I sneeze. Because my podcast usually, they don't get as many views as my other videos, which is understandable, because I'm a ASMR YouTube channel, not really a podcast YouTube channel. And you know, we see. But last podcast is at like over 300 views, which is wild. So it'd be crazy if this one can get up there as well. But if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, please subscribe. As I said again, my April commission form is going to be linked down below. Even though April is ending, I can still finish them up. Please, if you're interested, that'd be wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Baddies, stay cool, stay safe, and stay sexy.